Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And I know this is an unusual minute to start my video, but that's because our hero for today, Matrix 59, seems to have had a bit of an issue loading into the game. Now, when you don't have those first 30 seconds, you have to react quickly to whatever you might face. And Matrix, unfortunately, has probably missed out on one of the best opportunities that you can have in one of your light tanks, and that is spawning in on Sand River Encounter. As we can see, the AMX 1357 on the enemy team certainly wasn't caught napping, and so he was able to get up on that ridgeline and spot out, I guess, where at least a few of Matrix's team would have appeared. Now, of course, if he'd spawned in without a bit of lag, latency, maybe just a crash, maybe he had to remove some kind of modification that was messing up his game, I guess, then he would have been able to crest that ridge and probably get a scout medal at the start of this battle. So far, it totally sucks for the Matrix. But nevertheless, he's trying to be able to still get out some vision here. He's playing in a game where there are 3 self-propelled guns. And of course, when you're playing in your light tanks in games where there are 3 self-propelled guns, that means that every single spot that you can try and make is just worth oh so much more. Now, Matrix today is playing in the Tier 8 French light tank. It is the Bat Chatillon 12T. And as we can see, it has a 4-round autoloader, although not really the highest damage for an autoloader at Tier 8. 170 millimeters of penetration and 170 damage as well, meaning that this clip can do 680 damage, but with a 2-second delay between each one of its shells, it's going to take 6 seconds to do that. That's not exactly high burst damage, right? Much lower than a Progetto 46, but of course, this is a light tank. It's not meant to have the same kind of damage output as a medium tank or even as a heavy, I guess. Now, the Bat Chatillon is an interesting vehicle, and it's one of the most played tanks in the game. And I'll just watch this moment. He obviously doesn't like that new KV2 rental, as Matrix is going to shut him down and go and encourage that player to buy another premium tank. But as I was mentioning, the Bat Chatillon 12T, it is one of the most popular, or it's one of the most played tanks in World of Tanks. I'm not going to say it's the most popular vehicle, because the reason why people play this tank is not because I guess it's incredibly powerful or it's incredibly fun to play. I think that I'd probably rather play the Tier 9 or even rather play the Tier 6 and the Tier 7. Now, before I give you the reason why, there seems to be a glitch in the Matrix here. Oh dear, I don't know. Can I pull that one off? Maybe, possibly. As Matrix is basically, I guess, disconnected again? Or maybe he's just lagged again. And he's trying to make his way through the edge of the map here. Can't go that way, buddy, although I know he wasn't intentionally doing it. That red line, luckily, keeps Matrix from, I guess, rolling his tank over. And I've seen vehicles do that where they've either crashed or they're just lagged and then they've gone over a ridge and then they mess it up. It looks like Matrix thought that he was going to be able to finish off the T29 with the 3rd shot from his Tier 8 French light tank autoloader there, but it dips a little bit, which means that he requires the 4th, but nevertheless shuts down the Tier 7 American heavy tank. And quite fortunate, I guess, that he didn't get spotted until now, and so there's a chance that he's going to be able to escape. Now he's being hunted down by an AMX 1357. That is a very different vehicle to this, fires a lot faster, twice as many shots with an 8-round magazine. Well, yeah, and twice as many shots and fires them twice as quickly as well, with a second delay between each one of those 57mm shells. But the alpha damage on that tank, not nearly the same as what this Tier 8 light tank will be packing. Now the Lorraine 40T slams one towards Matrix, but luckily for him, it doesn't manage to hit the vehicle. And that's because the armor on this tank is 40mm at the front, 20 at the side, 20 at the rear, and 25 on the turret. And of course, the 100mm rounds that the Lorraine has will be overmatching all of the plates of this tank, apart from, I guess, the 40mm on the front. And so you've really got to watch out when you're driving around in your sneaky light tanks, because it's so annoying to lose your tracks and also to have it overmatch the side of the vehicle, even at a funky angle. But as I was saying, the reason why this is one of the most played tanks in the game is because it has a horrific tech tree, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just show you quickly on Tanks GG, if I can go over here and I can go here. Yeah, look at this. After you've researched the 75mm main armament, then you have to spend 198,000 to get the Bat Chatillon 25 TAP, 189,900 to get the 3090, or literally another 200k to get the AMX 30, which means that you have to get nearly 600 1,000 experience in this tank if you want to research the 3 tier 9 vehicles that the only way to be able to pick up are by playing this tank, which is absolutely ludicrous. The idea of having to play at tier 8 with the current matchmaker as it is, although nothing broken here for this 357 game, right, ladies and gents? But just, that's why you see so many of these tanks on the battlefield, because most tier 8s are maybe, you know, you have to get like 150,000 after you've fully researched the tank, and then you get yourself into a tier 9. Not in this. Not only is it quite expensive for the 200k to reach the tier 9, you got to do it 3 times if you want to pick up all the vehicles. Oh, great reactions there as Matrix turns around and shuts down the Bat-Chatillon 12T on the enemy team. He looks like he's won his duel now, and he's going to turn his attention towards the VK3601. And while, of course, Matrix, I guess, has been a bit unlucky so far this game with his disconnect and with a little bit of lag that he had, he's pretty much the only one that's truly kicking ass here. He's got as many kills as the rest of his team combined, but even with that 4 kills and the 2,200 damage that he's dealt, he is going to be able to find himself now in a 1 versus 7 situation. But not for long, as he rushes over the ridge, bounces the AMX 1357 and plows into him, taking out the tier 7 premium French light tank, and puts a following 2 rounds into a tier 6 Soviet tank destroyer, the Su-100, to finish it off, and now change his 1 versus 7 into a 1 versus 5. Now, of course, with 3 self-propelled guns on the enemy team, you cannot stay still for long. So he uses his repair kit and his med kit there to get his tank back into action. Now, this is the sign of an experienced player, driving in one direction until you're no longer spotted, and now going to use an alternative route to try and flank your opponents. And this VK3601, is he going to catch him napping? Oh yes, he is. And that's a great way to secure hit points, right? 240, the alpha damage on that tier 6, I believe, is 220, so it would have been pretty much a 50-50 if he would have died there. Talking about 50-50s, whether he's going to die, Matrix is literally wiggling his mouse, expecting another artillery shell to land, but fortunately it doesn't, and that's going to give Matrix an opportunity to continue his 1 versus 7, now 1 versus 4. And look at that artillery on the enemy team, 5 kills, oh goodness, hunting for a top gun, which is an unusual one to pick up for a self-propelled gun. But Matrix is going to be hunting for his Radley Walters medal here if he manages to find the 8th kill on the enemy team. And we know that there's a tank inside the cap circle, but what tank is it going to be? None of the enemy vehicles have been spotted anywhere on the map, so perhaps it's going to be the Su-100, maybe the M44, anything. He enters the cap. Now the enemy knows where he's going to be, and he finds the Su-100, misses the first shell, puts the second one in, and the third. Will he penetrate the 4th? Yes, he will, but not quite able to shut down that tier 6 tank destroyer in a single magazine, so has to go away momentarily to reload, avoiding shells left, right, and center. It's like we're in some kind of Michael Bay film here. Alright, so Matrix has wounded the box tank on the enemy team, but now the M12 has also made his way towards the cap circle, which is going to be doubly tricky to be able to pick apart those 2 vehicles while they're going to be working in conjunction with the other 2 self-propelled guns that are going to be slamming in shells from long range. And when you're on 23 hit points, something like an M44 on the enemy team is completely lethal, accurate with a good rate of fire and still a decent splash radius. The most profitable vehicle in World of Tanks that is not a premium tank could pose the threat here for Matrix, but 2 artillery shells dodged. The box tank still looking around, and Matrix decides to fire his entire magazine at the M12, which now leads him in a very awkward situation of whether the Su-100 is going to be able to turn the tank around fast enough to be able to shut him down, but luckily some of the destructible buildings inside the cap circle protect Matrix's retreat, and he's going to get to reload again. He is just jousting with the enemy right now. He is testing his luck with every single run against these self-propelled guns. He's like going into the Death Star right now in some kind of an X-Wing. Okay, come on Matrix, surely you can find out where this box tank is. He only needs 1 shell unless he low rolls to be able to finish him off. There you go. There's the last remaining tank on the enemy team defeated. Now just 2 self-propelled guns, and look at these artillery shells left, right, and center. This is absolutely, oh my word, I would not want to be in his situation right now. Matrix, if I was you, I would be completely sweating. And you truly are kind of living up to the narrative of this video with the idea of the Matrix. You're basically dodging shells like Neo right now, buddy. And if you can keep it up, why are you driving towards the Su-14-2? I don't think he's spotted you right now. Okay, well, you're going to crest underneath the ridgeline, I guess, to get up towards him, and then do a little bit of a jink before you move on the left or the right, or are you going to go down and around and try and sneak up behind the Su-14-2? Okay, that's one way of doing it. Alright, there's obviously in these kind of situations, there's kind of no exact perfect thing to do. You've just got to go with your instinct and try and eliminate the opportunity for the enemies to get shots on you. And Matrix is going to try and sneak up behind the Su-14-2 to see if he can take out the equal-tiered Soviet self-propelled gun. And there you go, right where you want them. Both artillery sitting right in front of Matrix. He misses them though, so he's gonna have to penetrate this shell and now reload to be able to deal with the M44. And that gun is looking pretty close. Okay, just about managed it. Okay, so as long as you don't do anything stupid right now, Matrix, it looks like you're about to pick up your third kill. And is that going to be a Pascucci's medal? Or is it even going to be a bigger one, finishing off 3 self-propelled guns? The M44 trying to bear his gun around, but Matrix shuts them down, looks up to the sky as if he's thanking the heavens, I guess, for some of those artillery misses. But what around here in one of the tanks that I guess you just have to play a lot of, right? The Bat Chatillon 12T. So yes, in fact, it's a Dimitri's medal for killing the enemy's 3 self-propelled guns. The one that everybody wants, the Kolobanov's medal for standing alone against at least 5, in this case 7. A Pool's medal for those 11 kills. A Defender medal for protecting the cap circle against the box tank. And a high caliber, something quite tricky to achieve in mid-tier French light tanks just because of the lack of ammunition they carry, for 4,445 damage dealt. And unfortunately, because Matrix is not using a premium count, that means that he loses a few credits. But when you get slapped with pretty much most of the medals in the game, I don't think they're really going to care. So Matrix, congratulations to you on this monster replay. It was a nail biter for me, and thank you for sharing it with the community on the What Replays EU website. And I hope all you lovely ladies and gentlemen out there enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up, but if you hated it, make sure you give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Sunday, it's time for another World of Tanks Tech Tree Showcase on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And this week, 604 of you voted, and the winner is, by a single vote, the Gorilla 15. And so tune in now if you want to see me showcase the entirety of the turreted German tank destroyer branch, so you can see if it's a line that's worth grinding, or alternatively, if you already have a few of the tanks, pick up a few tips and tricks along the way. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing as many of you as possible right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.